What if a Telegram message could tell you when to buy, sell, or hold a stock? There's no charting, no gambling, and no emotions. Most new traders get stuck juggling dashboards, charts, and a ton of research. But what if you could automate your price tracking, your news analysis, your trade signals without staring at charts all day? I built a workflow in n8n that connects Telegram, 12 Data, News API, and OpenAI to send AI-powered trade recommendations straight to my phone. And here's the wild part. I did it with zero coding experience. This idea was inspired by Brennan from AI Pathways, and it blew my mind. I've customized it for swing trading. Unlike day trading's constant sprint, swing trading lets you hold on to stocks for days or weeks, which is more flexible if you don't have the time to watch markets all day and every day. So if you want to know all the tools that I've used for this workflow, I'm going to leave them all in the description below. The first one being n8n, you will get a 14-day free trial. The next being 12 Data. This is where we're going to pull in all of our technical data. Then you're going to need News API. This is when we're going to get the market sentiment based on the most recent and trending news. And if you've been living under a rock and haven't made an account, make an account for OpenAI. Lastly, we're going to need Telegram. Once you've created an account for n8n, you're going to go over to your dashboard and you're going to create a new workflow by clicking the top right orange button right here. Once you're on that page, you can title it whatever you want, and we're going to hit the plus sign, and we're going to add the first node, which is always going to be a trigger node. And we're going to be using Telegram because that's what we're going to use to communicate with this workflow. We're going to open this up, and then we're going to scroll down to on message after hitting triggers on message right here. Now we're going to create an account. So let's open this tab, create a new account. We're going to go to the docs. We're going to scroll down, start chat with Botfather. Click that, then select open Telegram. When this chat box is open, there's going to be a start button here. Just go ahead and click that. Then you're going to click new bot. Then you're going to get a message to ask you to name your bot. We're going to name our bot AI agent. Oh, let's go back. Let's do swing trading AI agent. We can't do that. We got to have underscores. So swing trading AI agent. One more time. Swing trading AI bot. There you go. Finally! So each word has to be connected by an underscore, and you have to end it with bot. Now we're going to go test this out, but first we're going to need our API key, which is right here. So go ahead and copy that. And we're going to go back to our n8n, and we're going to paste that token here, hit save, and it should go green. Let's name it Swing Trading AI Bot. Now we can test this chatbot out by clicking this, hit start. Let's type in TSLA. All right. All right, there you go. Now we have Tesla here. Now we need to somehow get all the information from the stock ticket that we want. And we're going to be getting that from 12 Data. So just type in 12 Data API documentation. It should be the top one. Now we're going to look for our REST API. A REST API basically lets n8n send requests to 12 Data and get data back like a digital middleman. You're going to scroll down and look for a link that basically says API endpoints, REST API here. So we're going to copy this. Go back to our n8n, hit the plus sign, type in HTTP request. We're going to paste that link here. Let's delete this space. There's a few more things we need. Let's go back to the API documentation for 12 Data. Since I'm swing trading, I'm going to be looking for specific time frames. So we're going to go down to core data, and we're going to go to time series. So this is what we want to copy. Go back to our n8n, paste that there. Now let's look over this documentation. So basically what it's letting us know that there's a few things that are required that have a red asterisk. So we need a symbol. So we know that they want it as a parameter, right? So let's go back, add a query parameter, and type in symbol. And we're not going to manually type anything here because we're going to use this variable. So make sure you hit expression and just drag over text that has Tesla or whatever ticker you use for your example, and just drag it over here. The next thing we're going to need is the interval. So you have the options here, a minute, 5 minute, 15 minutes. I'm going to go with the 4 hour, the 1 day, and the 1 week since I'm swing trade. But the thing is we have to create separate HTTP requests for each time frame. I'll show you what I mean. So we're going to add another parameter, and for that parameter, they want us to use the string interval. Type in interval. Then we're going to have to type in exactly how they have it formatted here. For H, for the 4 hour time frame. Another thing I want to add is the output size, because by default, the output size will be 30, which is basically the number of data points that we want within a time frame. So basically, if you're thinking the candlesticks, how many candlesticks do we want to see? I'm going to go with 100. I don't think 30 is enough. You can play around with what you want, but we're going to go back to our n8n and add another parameter. We're going to type in output 100. So we're going to add one more parameter because the last thing we're going to need for this is an API key. So we go back to introduction, overview. We're going to scroll down until we see authentication. So basically, just copy this, paste it. And to get your API key, you have to create an account, and it's free. Don't worry. Again, there's a link in the description below. Go ahead and sign in, create an account. Once you're in the home page, you're going to go over to API keys, click reveal this secret key, copy it, and then paste it here. Then head back to Canvas, right click this node, and we're going to copy it. And we're going to paste it 2 more times. 1, 2. So this is going to be our 4 hour time frame. This is going to be our 1 day time frame. There it is. 1 week time frame. We're going to hover over this button, press and hold, drag it over, press and hold, drag it over. Let's open up this node. We're going to change a few things. So when we look at our documentation again, for 1 day, we'll have to be formatted like this. Copy that. I'm going to replace the 4 hour here with the 1 day. For the 1 week, copying this, replacing the 4 hour. And now we have our 3 time frames. But let's make this even better by pulling the most recent news articles on that ticker within the past week. We're going to hit this dot right here. Then we're going to type in HTTP request, press enter. Now we're going to go to our second tool, News API. News API. I'm going to head over to documentation, and over to your left, hit searching for news articles, and there's an example curl request here. Just copy this thing. It's going to make things a lot easier. Back in your n8n, you're going to hit import curl. You're going to paste that down here. Hit import, and it's going to auto-populate everything, but we're going to make a few changes. Q is going to be our query, and instead of Apple, we're going to change this to an expression, delete this, and we're going to drag in our text from our Telegram node. So the result will be Tesla. So basically, we're going to be searching for news articles about Tesla, and we want them within the past week. And how are we gonna do that? We're gonna have to change this. We're gonna change this to an expression. If we take a look here, the format of the date is year, month, and then the day. So I'm gonna ask ChatGPT to create a code for me that will do that automatically based on today's date. So I'm gonna ask it, generate an expression for n8n that calculates the date 7 days ago and formats it as year, month, and day. Let's see if this works. Delete that, paste it there. All right, there you have it. So basically, it's gonna search up all the articles from this date here. I'm gonna leave the sort by as popularity. And for your API key, we're going to need that. Head over back to News API, log in with your account, go back to the main page, and then click Get API Key. Then you're going to copy that and paste that here. We're going to head back to Canvas. Let's clean this up a bit. So we're going to merge these 3, which is very simple. Merge node, enter, and there's 3 time frames. So hit 3, don't execute, and just connect everything. Alrighty? All right, let's work on this one. I'm sorry, I messed up. Hold on. This is our news article request. You want to reconnect this. So we're going to merge just our time frames. All right, I'm going to rename this news. So what we want to do is we want to pass all these news articles into an AI message model to analyze it and kind of let us know what the market sentiment is, whether it's positive, neutral, or negative. So hit the plus sign, type in OpenAI, message a model, and you're going to create an account. To do that, you're going to go to openai.com, go to API platform, create an account, log in, hover over to the gear icon, click API keys, create a key, title it, create the secret key, copy it, paste that here, and then hit save. Then you're gonna head over to billing, and you're gonna add just about $5. I added $5 about 7 months ago, and I still have $2 left, so it's plenty and it's super cheap. You head back to your n8n, make sure you're connected to your account, and then you're gonna go over to model, and I'm gonna go with 4.1 mini because it's cheap and it gets the job done. And we're just gonna make sure it outputs this as JSON, just so it's gonna be a little bit easier for our next AI agent to kind of interpret the data. All right, so let's exit out of that for a second. And now we're gonna open this and execute this step. Now that this step is done, we have all the news articles within the past week. Let's pin this data. Now we're gonna go over here and we're gonna add in our prompt. So I have changed this to an expression. I'm gonna enlarge it so I can show you what I put. Basically, you are a highly intelligent, accurate sentiment analyzer specializing in financial markets. Analyze the sentiment of the provided text. So basically, I'm telling it to determine whether the sentiment category is positive, neutral, or negative, and I want it as a specific output. And I had ChatGPT kind of help me out with this, but this is the format that I wanted in. But the thing is, when I do this and I drag over articles, the result is this, which is not what I want. I want the actual text of the article. So we're going to use ChatGPT to help us with that. And I know I'm going to get roasted for my question, but I don't know how to code. But this is what I asked. This is my variable. I pasted what it was, but I'm only getting an object. How do I get actually data passed over? And my grammar sucks. But basically, this is what I recommended, so let's give it a try. I'm deleting this, and let's paste when we want. And look, it worked. The actual text from all the articles. All right, let's execute this step. And it might take a while. All right, it's done. So it basically said negative. Score was negative 0.4. It gave its rationale. That's good. It did its job. So basically, to go over the prompt again, I basically prompted to calculate a numerical score between -1, which is extremely negative, and 1, which is extremely positive. So we're going to pin this data, save it for later. All right, now let's test the time frame request. Basically going to execute all of these. I should have pinned the data, but let's do it again. All right, so I had to refresh. All right, now we have Tesla back in. Let's pin this so we don't have to repeat that step again. And let's execute the rest of this workflow. Okay. All right, we have a bunch of data. I didn't explain this earlier, but pinning your data basically means saving your data. So you don't have to run that node over and over again. So I'm going to do that with the time frame nodes. And this one, the 4 hour, we're going to pin the 1 day. We're going to pin the 1 week. And now we have everything merged. We now have 3 items and we're going to aggregate all of them. And I'm going to show you why we're doing that. We're going to change this to all items data into a single list. Go ahead and execute. Not everything is combined into one item. And we want to pass this over to a code node because it's a lot of data. So we want to clean it up so when we feed it to our AI agent, it'll be a little bit easier to interpret that data. And again, I don't know how to code, so I'm going to ask ChatGPT to do that. And this is so crazy that I was able to do this, but I went over to JSON. I copied it by clicking this. Then I went over to Claude.ai. I create an account. It's free. And I pasted that JSON, and then I asked it, how can I create a code node in n8n to make this data more cleaner and easier to read for an LLM? And it gave me a result. I copied that. I went back to Canvas, hit the plus node, typed in code, enter. I deleted this default. Then I pasted the one Claude created for me. I tested the step, and now we have something a little bit easier for our LLM to interpret. Let's pin this data. Now we're gonna merge both of these two. So I'm gonna hit the plus sign, type in merge. We've used it before. 2 inputs. We're gonna drag over this one over here. Let's execute this step. Okay, the reason why it's not executing when I press it is because it's waiting for me to type something in Telegram. I thought that when I pinned it, I wouldn't have to do that anymore. But to get around that, what I've been doing is after I hit execute, I would let it run for a little bit and then I would stop it and it would still result. So basically it's skipping that Telegram trigger. After the merge node, we're gonna have to aggregate everything again just to make it a little bit easier. Trust me, aggregate all item data, execute it. Now we're going to feed it into our AI agent node. So type in AI agent. This is gonna be the main guy. Boom. We're gonna select define below, hit expression, and we're gonna enlarge it. So if you go down in my descriptions, there will be a section where you can grab all my prompts. So paste the user prompt for the AI agent here. If you're building along, this is what you're gonna do. So I'm just gonna delete these two and show you what I did. So basically, when you first do this, you're gonna drag over data.0, which is basically, let's collapse this. This is basically our technical data, like so all the candlestick numbers and pricing. So we're gonna drag this over right there. And then for the next one will be the sentiment analysis. So that will be data 1, right? So we have a rationale, everything. We're gonna go over and drag that over. But again, we're getting objects here. This is where an LLM comes in and they can code for you. So basically, you remember this question? This is my variable, JSON.data, 0.0, and then give it the same question basically so it can stringify it. So I copied this, but basically what we're doing, we're just adding this portion, but let's just copy it and I'll show you what to do. All right, let's paste that here. So now we have all that data. We're gonna paste that here. If you look here, the only difference is this 1, all right? So when we paste it, we're gonna have to change the 0 to a 1. So delete that, paste it, and we're gonna change the 0 to a 1. Okay, so now we should have all the correct information. So that is our user prompt. We now have to add a system prompt. So let's go ahead and add option, system message, hit expression, enlarge it. Let's delete this. I'm gonna paste this in. It's really simple. I've also linked it in the description below, but basically it just says you are an expert trader. Only output exactly the lines below, no rationale, no extra commentary. And that's basically it. And then lastly, we're gonna connect it to a chat model. The plus sign down here, go to OpenAI chat model. And I like to use 4.0 latest. It costs a few cents more, but we want something a little bit smarter because this is going to be analyzing all of our data. And I know this one has been a long one, but we're finally at our last step. So we're going to have to connect this to another Telegram trigger. Type in Telegram, and we're going to go down to send a text message. And you're going to paste over your chat ID, and I'm going to show you how to get that. So basically, you're going to hover over here. You're going to be in schema, and these are basically all the previous nodes. And you're going to look for your Telegram trigger, and you're going to look for chat ID. So keep scrolling until we can find that. So under chat right here, you see ID. So that's what we're pasting over here. I'm just going to delete this so I can show you. That's all we're doing. The text, we're going to go back to this output from our agent. I'm going to show you again. There it is. So if we execute this step, we should see that message on our Telegram. Let's check the Telegram. Boom, there you have it. I did it twice because I forgot to record the first time, but there you have it. We have technical recommendations to sell. Entry price is 325, stop loss 338, target price 288, risk reward ratio, and then confidence level high. That is the whole workflow. Just remember, this is not financial advice. Always do your own research. If you found this useful, subscribe to my channel and find out more ways on how you can utilize AI and automation to save time and money.